Decrypt. Block 7. Very well. We've read that. Spooky music. Well, spooky. The absence of music. Nightmarish Bride. Human Jong. February 7th, year 320. It seems that in the year I spent visiting my parents, everything has gone to hell in my husband's family without his knowing clearly. I never should have left. He has an idea, but he doesn't understand just how bad things have gotten. When I left it all, let me just remind myself, who the hell is Human Jong? She's the wife of someone. Oh, this is the Smiths. No, I want to see the Kims. Oh, she's supposedly the mother-in-law, right? That's not the father. What's I'm probably forgetting who is her. Who is she, I mean. Who is her? That's funny. What's her name? Human junk. I can't search like that. I wonder why. Maybe the terminal is corrupted? Because that's the top the document ID. Oh, the ID is 7. Okay, 7 HH78 HH78A. I forgot. It is 7 HH78. 7 HH78. Okay, so this is how you get access to them. I think this is a way for how to access entries without, you know, I think how if you try to share entries without spoiling it to someone else. Anywho, let's go ahead and read this. Starting from the beginning, it seems that in the year I spent visiting my parents, everything has gone to hell in my husband's family without his knowing. Clearly, I've never should have left. He has an idea, but he doesn't understand just how bad things have gotten. When I left, it all seemed under control. The pale bride would of the right age to be married to the Emperor soon enough, and we could be able to use that connection to bring favor to the family. A good plan, except it turns out the pale bride is not even close to ready for marriage. Age has nothing to do with it. It's the maturity that she lacks. When she first awoke right before I left, she seemed a little confused, but that was hardly unexpected. She had a whole new family to get accustomed to, and it seemed obvious enough that anyone born so far in the past would have some difficulty adjusting to modern life. Modern. But this is far beyond that. There is something simply wrong with that child. When I got back, the first thing Young-suk's wife did was tell me all about how sorry she was for not being able to control the child. I rolled my eyes, as if a grown woman couldn't handle someone of her age. "How are you going to raise my grandson like that?" I asked. She was quiet and let me see the pale bride for myself. The first time I saw Young-suk try to get her to do something as simple as sort out his laundry, she wasn't just disobedient, she was openly defiant. When I stepped in to admonish her, it had absolutely no effect. All she did was argue back at me. I tried every approach I could think of, appealing to filiality, explaining how important a virtue obedience was, even trying to appeal to sentimentality. Everything. She just kept saying the same thing, that it wasn't fair to make her do it. Here's the obvious concern, and it is what I said to her. "Are you going to tell your husband that it's not being fair when he wants something from you?" I thought that would put some sense into her, but no, she just answered yes. There's no way this unruly child could possibly be marriageable. Not like this. She'd be sent back within a day, and with good reason. What man could possibly want a nightmare like her in his life? Mother, huh? I don't really know what to say about her, even now. This is the first time I've read what she wrote, and it's just, well, there's more. Here, read them for yourself. More entries, huh? Drastic measures. I think we'll know here at the drastic measures. Mother, the Pale Bride, February 21st, year 320. The good news is, health-wise, I seems to be doing much better this month. I am sure this isn't a permanent thing. It happened before. I can't really remember how the doctor from the past explained it anymore, but he said it was pretty normal and not something to get my hopes up about. Still, some days this month I actually had enough energy to want to move around. Not that I could move around, of course. I can't leave the house. A good girl shouldn't. A good girl shouldn't, is what everyone keeps saying. But I have the energy to, at least, and that's something. The big news is that the woman who's supposed to be my adopted mother came back. I didn't really see her much before she left. I might as well have been meeting a new person. I wish I could say I had high hopes for her. I had thought that maybe she'd be fine. That'd be a lie, though. I knew she'd be as bad as the rest the moment I saw her. And she was, of course, she was. She's even worse than sister-in-law. She gives these awful lectures. I can't even describe them. They are that horrible. She's that horrible. Okay, it took her like 2 weeks to write about her. Alright. Independent woman. Human Jung. April 3rd, year 320. If you're so worried, why don't you just explain anything to her? Simply and rationally. Jung-soo asked me. My response was, "She's a woman. You're not particularly rational." He said, "You know what I mean. I could hardly do it, but coming from a woman, perhaps she will understand that it's all for her own good." Maybe I said, doubting it. But I tried anyway. She took her time arriving after I summoned her to my room. "Can we speak?" I asked her, trying to keep my voice calm. She glared, then snapped, "Fine." I asked her to sit down, but she refused. 5 pages? "Look," I said, trying to speak to her as an equal. I still didn't think my husband was right, but it was worth trying. "I've been told you'd rather be called Hyun-ai. Is that right?" she said. "Is that right?" She said yes, bitterly, not giving me much to go off. "That's a very pretty name," I said. "Thanks," she said, but her voice was still unfriendly. My parent gave it to me," I said. "You must miss them very much," she nodded. "I don't understand, Hyun-ai. Were you so difficult with them too?" "No," she said. "They were nice. They actually cared about me. They're nothing like you people." I sighed. I care about you, Hyun-ai. You're a part of the family. You're a Kim. Your parents are our ancestors, and I know they think it's very important that we raise you right. If you want to be a bad unfilial daughter and treat us without any respect, well, you wouldn't be the first. Do you really think an old woman like me really cares that much about your opinion of me?" I thought maybe I'd try appealing to her selfishness. Her marriage is important to the family, but clearly she doesn't care about filiality. As you, I'm worried about. Do you think any husband is really going to put up with the way you are for even a second? Yeah, this game is pushing the idea that, women at past were nothing but marriage material. She kept glaring at me. "That's all you keep talking about. Marriage, marriage, marriage. I am 14. I am 14 years old. That's wrong. What's wrong with you? Why does everything have to be about some man? Why do I have to marry somebody that you picked?" She screamed at me. I remained calm. "You're going to be a royal concubine, Hyun-ai. We're not dumping you off on just anyone. There's no better man. I don't know if you were already engaged in the past, but your parents would do the same. If they could, it's what's best for you. They would want this." No, they wouldn't," she shrieked. "They wanted me to grow up. They wanted me to be an independent woman. That's what mom and dad thought was important. I don't want to be a concubine. I don't care about marriage. An independent woman. They wanted you to be a whore?" I ask my patience runs as thin as anyone's would be. I didn't believe for a second my husband's ancestors were the monster she was making them to be, and was sick of this. "Get out," I snapped at her. "Just get out." The mother that was the one that snapped out. Are you just showing me that because you want to see more from me?" "Yes, of course." "Oh well, in that case, there's nothing I can do." Oh, sorry about that, viewers. Sorry, I'm very sorry about that. Hopefully that wasn't as noisy as it have sounded. I'm sorry. Anywho, she didn't really write about me that much. There's nothing else of hers in here that's really relevant. You've seen it all. Sorry. There was one big fight I had with her. The one that changed everything. The one I finally lost. My diary makes it sound really dramatic. I know. I was young at the time, but it really was. Just read it. It's exactly how it went. Young Suk's wife. April 22nd, year 320. Dear Smother, my mother-in-law has relieved me of any responsibility for looking after the pale bride. As a matter of pride, I feel bad that that a simple child is too much for me to handle, but I am certainly glad she's not my problem anymore. Now I can put my undivided attention back to where it belongs, into my husband and his ambitions. Tell me though, Mother, because I know we didn't always get along that well. I was never that bad, was I? Sure, we were both happy when I moved out. Well, perhaps I wasn't happy right away. I was more scared, but I'm sure you were relieved to have some space. But you would have never given up on me, right? I was never that bad, was I? Deep down, I worry. My husband seems content to take his time to have children, and which is a decision I can certainly live with. But what about when we do? What if we have a daughter? Will I fail with her too? I've been telling myself that it's not me, it's her. She is a peculiar, unruly child, and it is not ordinarily that. And is not ordinarily that bad. It is not, right? Please tell me I have nothing to worry about, please. Parenthood. You know, I never did like her. When I woke up, she was just this awful person who kept saying the most awful things. Never as bad as Mother, but still. I didn't read any of her letters when I was alive, of course. But you know what really surprised me? She made such an awful impression on me, on my life. I hated her the most for so long. And she barely even ever mentioned me. All my suffering, it was just a minor distraction to her. Nothing more, insignificant compared to her man. There's one more from her that you should read. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to feel about her. There's just one thing that I keep thinking though. Just one thing. I have no idea what her name was. What her name was. We're gonna see the newest entry from her. My last stand? No. Just please read them. If you want to know the whole story, these entries will explain. This is the new entry, by the way. They didn't add this as a new message for some reason in the main terminal, in the main menu of the terminal. My last stand, Pale Bride, May 13th, year 320. The Pale Bride, dear diary, everything managed to spiral out of control so quickly today. I wasn't planning on it happening this way, but here's the point where I make my stand, I guess. It sounds dramatic, but I won't just let them marry me off to some stranger. I won't let them. Just before dinner yesterday, Mother told me that I had to go do an interview with some man, the Emperor, I guess. For all I care, the way she put it was I'd get a chance to see that he's a man you could fall in love with. For something stupid like that, as if, I said in response. And I spent the rest of the evening thinking about what I could possibly do to make it clear I wouldn't let them do this. This morning, after breakfast, sister-in-law showed up in my room. "Good morning," she said. "Today is a big day for you, isn't it? Mother-in-law wanted me to help you get dressed and all made up. You'll want to make a good first impression after all." I glared at her and summoned up all my courage. "No," I said. "What?" she asked. "No, I am not going." She left and Mother herself came in. This was it. I told myself this was the big moment. I'm not going. I said before she could say anything, I'm not going to get dressed up, I'm not going to meet him, and I'm definitely not going to get married. I shouted for a moment. She said nothing and didn't move. Then she left, too, without saying a word. I thought that would feel good, but it didn't. It just made me worry more. I couldn't have possibly won that easily. I thought, and I hadn't, of course. After a few minutes, she returned with father, who looked incredibly angry. Minjong says you're refusing to get ready for your interview, he said. Yeah, I stammered, not used to talking to him. I won't go, and I won't get married. He walked over in just 2 strides, then glared at me for a second. I had no idea what he was going to do. Then he slapped me in the face, so hard that it knocked me over. Yes, you will, he said. I'll drag you there kicking and screaming if I have to. My face in so much pain, I forced myself to sit back up. I won't, I said, bracing myself for if he hit me again. He did. Yes, you will, he said. I couldn't keep this up. It already hurt so much. I couldn't just brave that out. Then it came to me. If you make me do the interview, I said, I'll tell the Emperor that you've been conspiring behind his back. It was all I could think of, and all I could do was cross my fingers and hope that threat worked. It had to. He glared at me, and that moment I knew it worked. The two of them looked at each other, and then they both left together. That was 3 hours ago. I don't know if what's going to happen now. And I think my face is swollen. It still hurts, and I didn't want it to go that way. So that's me making my stand. I'll get to that, but for now, please just look at everything else first. I know, it is coming. They cut her tongue. Definitely. Drastic measures. The Pale Bride picked May 13th. Let me see. My last stand? Oh, okay. So it was the same day that I assume they cut out her tongue. The Pale Bride picked the worst of all possible days to throw another one of her childish fits, refusing to even get dressed for her interview. And this one was with the Emperor himself. Not even my husband was able to get her to listen. He had to personally apologize himself for not being able to bring her as scheduled, and lied about a sudden illness. You have to do something about her, I said to my husband that evening. She's completely out of control. I know, he said. That's quite clear. He looked so worried. I hugged him and tried to comfort him. Everything would fall apart if something couldn't be done. She'd threatened to say something stupid and dangerous to the Emperor, and we were both scared that she might. Maybe it's time to consider doing something drastic, I said to him. Oh shit. So she's the one that actually suggested that. He nodded. I know. He said, I can only think of one idea. I do not like it. I would rather not. Even hitting her was far worse than I would have wanted. He explained his idea to me, and I agreed that it was terrible, and I didn't like it either. But it would stop her from arguing, stop her from ruining her own life. My husband was, as always, right. There was only one way. Three pages. Peace at last. Hugh Min Jung, February 14th, year 321.